Hey, welcome back to Following Signs. I'm your host, Rutu Raparo, and today we're going to be covering an episode for all of you psychology geeks out there. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I first hear about the word psychology, my brain immediately goes to good old Freud, who, with his cocaine, thought up some really crazy ideas, and also some not so crazy ones, which we still use and think about today. Now, let's get started with today's episode. So, before we deep dive into the contributions that Freud made to society, it is imperative that we first understand who Freud was. Sigmund Freud was born on May 6, 1856, in what is now Czech Republic. Often referred to as the father of psychoanalysis, Freud revolutionized the field of psychology with his groundbreaking theories on the unconscious mind, the structure of personality, and the mechanisms of human behavior. Now, Freud's journey began with the study of medicine and neurology, but it was his deep interest in the workings of the human mind that led him to develop psychoanalysis. He introduced concepts such as the id, ego, and superego, which he believed were the three parts of the human psyche. Freud's work also dwelled into dream analysis, the Oedipus complex, and the role of sexuality in psychological development. Now, despite facing criticism and controversy, Freud's ideas have had a lasting impact on both psychology and popular culture. His theories have paved the way for countless developments in therapy, mental health, and our understanding of the human behavior. Now that we've covered who Sigmund Freud is, let's talk a little bit more about the different contributions he made to psychology. Now let's start with one of his most significant contributions, which is the theory of the unconscious mind. Freud proposed that much of our mental activity occurs outside of our conscious awareness, influencing our thoughts, feelings, and actions without us realizing it. He believed that the unconscious mind holds desires, memories, and experiences that are too threatening to face directly, and these are often expressed through dreams, slip of the tongue, and free associations. This theory of his is also used a lot in therapy, where different therapists often try to use free associations as a way to get their client to talk about their true and maybe unconscious feelings. Now, Freud's model of psyche is another cornerstone of his work. He divided the human mind into three parts: the id, ego, and superego. The id represents our primal urges and desires, operating on the pleasure principle and seeking immediate gratification. Think about it like the devil on your shoulder, super reckless. Now, the ig, governed by the reality principle, tries to balance the desires of the id with the demands of the real world, making rational decisions to satisfy those desires in a socially acceptable manner. So think of it like a mediator between the id and the superego. Now, the superego, on the other hand, is like the good angel on your shoulder, and it embodies our moral standards and ideals, often internalized from parents and society. It strives for perfection and judges our actions, leading to feelings of pride or guilt. Now, let's talk about one of Freud's most controversial theories, the Oedipus complex, which, when he introduced it as a part of his psychosexual stages of development, he faced a lot of criticism. Now, according to Freud, children pass through a series of stages where different erogenous zones became the focus of their pleasure seeking energies. During the phallic stage, one of the stages in his psychosexual development theory was happening around the ages 3 to 6. And he talked about the Oedipus complex then. And he talked about it in a manner where boys develop unconscious sexual desires for their moms and see their fathers as rivals, leading to feelings of jealousy and competition. Freud believed that resolving these complex feelings was crucial for healthy psychological development. Now, dream analysis is another key aspect of Freud's work. He was on the position that dreams are the royal road of the unconscious, providing a window into the hidden desires and conflicts with our minds. In his seminal work, The Interpretation of Dreams, Freud introduced the idea that dreams have both manifest content, which is the literal storyline of the dream, and the latent content, which is a hidden psychological meaning, which therapists often try to uncover during sessions. And now, by interpreting these dream symbols, Freud believed that we could uncover repressed thoughts and emotions. Freud also pioneered therapeutic techniques, such as free association and transference, which I kind of mentioned earlier, at least about free association. Now, in free association, patients are encouraged to speak freely about whatever comes to their mind without censorship or judgment. This method aims to bypass the conscious mind's defenses and reveal unconscious thoughts and feelings. Transference, on the other hand, involves the projection of these feelings about important figures in the patient's life onto the therapist. So it's kind of like role play, and it allows these emotions to be explored and resolved within the therapeutic relationship. And oftentimes, transference is very useful because after a little time, the patient actually dives into their role and actually starts to see the therapist as this person that they're playing as and starts to project their real feelings towards that person onto the therapist. Now, despite the controversies and the criticisms that surround some of his theories, Freud's impact on psychology and psychotherapy is undeniable. His emphasis on the unconscious mind, the role of early childhood experiences, and the use of talk therapy has influenced countless therapists and researchers. Today, many of his ideas continue to be explored, expanded upon, and debated, highlighting the enduring legacy of his work. Basically, Freud is a significant part of psychology, and without understanding his contributions, you won't truly understand psychology. Now, I want to thank you all for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Until next time, keep following science.